No matter what dieting program you're about ready to start, whether it's keto, paleo, Whole30, Weight Watchers, or any of the other countless amount of them out there, I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the hardest part about any of them coming up next. Look, to be honest, there's a ton of hard things about all the different types of diet types that I just suggested and talked about. No matter what they are, all of them are going to have their difficult points to follow. But what I'm going to share right now might be the most difficult of all of them. And this is no rocket science. This is not some huge mind-blowing revelation. The hardest part of any of them is starting. Now, I know you're all thinking, mind blown. Probably not. That's really what this video is all about. I want to explore some of the reasons why I think it's so hard for us to get started, and I hope to give you a tip or two to help get you over that ledge. When it gets down to it, a lot of us know what we need to know when it comes to living a healthy life. We have the head knowledge. You know, we've seen the commercials, we've scoured the internet, or we've had stuff pop up in front of us all the time that tell us how to live a healthy life and how to, this product's going to help us do this, or if we just live this way, you've heard me talk about keto. If you've listened to any of my stuff before, you've heard me talk about the ketogenic lifestyle, you've heard others talk about Atkins and all these other things. You may have the head knowledge, but what are you actually doing with that head knowledge? Well, if you're like most of us, you just sit on it. Knowledge without action is worthless. You may know that you're on a road that's heading towards a big bridge that's out 5 miles up the road, but if you don't stop and turn around and change direction or take another road, you're going to end up driving off that bridge anyway. Look, let's just talk about the easiest one that we can all relate to, and that's just pure lack of motivation. The bottom line is we just don't want to do it. We've just become so comfortable where we are that we just don't want to change what we're doing. We've probably all heard this saying that comfort is the enemy of progress, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's probably the enemy of many, many things. I think one of the hardest things for us to do is to embrace the idea of being uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, and that's just something that most of us don't want to do. The reality of it is this is not easy to do. That requires a mindset change. It's difficult, but it can be done. The idea is that we just have to get into a different way of thinking about things, that some types of uncomfort is okay. If you think about it for a minute, when you are doing some kind of exercise and you're pushing yourself to that point of uncomfort, that is actually, it may feel horrible at the time, or you may really struggle with doing it, but that act of uncomfort to your muscle is actually micro-tearing the fibers in that muscle that's going to ultimately lead it to come back bigger and stronger and more capable of burning energy or fat that we all like to burn. The point is that sometimes it's necessary to be uncomfortable, and that's okay. We have to stop fearing the idea of being uncomfortable, that it's something that we have to shun or to run away from. We have to embrace it and then just get on with it. Another reason why we all tend to kind of just fail to start is this idea that we don't have enough knowledge in our heads about diet or nutrition to even get going. First of all, lack of information is just not an excuse anymore. We have more information at our fingertips than at any other generation beside us. Whether that's finding somebody that motivates you or that gives you the information you need, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of options out there for you. Look, I'd love for you to get involved in my channel, but if you don't like my channel or you don't like my personality or something, that's totally fine. There's somebody out there, though, that can help you. And there's just no reason why you can't get out there and just with a little bit of effort, find that one person, that one site, that one little piece of information that's going to help give you what you need to get going. And the second part of this idea of I don't know enough to really get going is, look, you're never going to know everything. In the grand scheme of things, most people are either fight or flight, but there are those that will come up against the situation and just completely freeze. And I have a feeling that that's what a lot of people do when they come up against this idea that they don't know enough, or I just don't have enough knowledge, or I can't really do this because I don't know. They get into this point of, oh my gosh, information overload, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to freeze and not do anything. The reality of it is that we can all just take a step and start learning on the way. Look, if you have an idea in your head that you have to do things perfectly to succeed, you're never going to start anything. You have to understand and realize that you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. Just start going, start walking, start making decisions each day for your health. And you know what? If you stumble here, we learn from it and we keep going. But just get going. Don't let this idea of no information or too much information freeze you into doing nothing. The next reason why a lot of people don't start is because of this whole excuse that I've used many times, and I'm sure you have as well. I'm just too busy, or I work too much, or there's just too much going on in my life. So I'll come out and say that my wife embodies this probably better than anybody. There was a point in time where her schedule kept her away from home. She was spending an hour and a half each way, probably 3 hours of her day in a commute, at least a 9-hour day at work. And her schedule was just crammed to the max. And she came to a point where she realized that she was so busy, but she couldn't allow the busyness dictate her health. So what she started to do is just make things happen. She worked in a 9-story building, and every single day she would walk those stairs 2 or 3 times before work. During her lunch hour, she would run out there and spend probably 10 minutes doing them a couple of times, but sometimes even doing it at the end of the day. And at the end of that, by her focusing on her health, she was able to lose 30 pounds just by focusing on diet and fitting those things into her schedule. And you can do the same thing when it comes to meal prep, right? I mean, there are sites out there like Pinterest where you can go on and just search for easy lunch ideas or easy breakfast ideas or simple and fast dinner ideas. There's really just no reason for us to be able to, to think that we have to create some 5-course meal that's every single day. It's going to take 2 hours to prepare. There are some incredible, quick, short recipes out there. We even have some on our site that you can do in 15 minutes and have a great, nutritious dinner or lunch or breakfast that's going to feed you and it's going to overcome that schedule and that tight schedule that you have. The bottom line is you're never going to get the time. You have to make the time. You have to decide that you're worth it, that your health is worth it, and that you're going to do something about it, even if that involves cutting out maybe a few minutes on the phone or a few minutes of TV, something to focus on your health. All right, this next topic is a big one, and the reason why a lot of people don't start is pure and simple fear. Some of the ones that I hear all the time is, I'm afraid that I'm just too out of shape to do anything. And you know what? I hear you. I've been there. Remember, I started off at 350 pounds, having that entire body weighing me down every single day. But you know what? There are people out there that are 450 pounds, 500, 600, 750 pounds, people that are bedridden. And you know what? I've seen them make that decision in their mind that, you know what? I'm going to do something. I don't want to die like this. I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. And so what do? They make the changes necessary. They make the diet changes that they can do, even if they are bedridden and can't even get out of bed. They're willing to make small exercise changes just by laying there, doing chest presses with a small dumbbell or anything like that. It's incredible to me to see how people that are completely bedridden can even do something to overcome that. And listen, I'm going to tell you, if they can do it, you can do it. We all can do it. We got to get out of this idea that, I'm just too out of shape, I'm too far gone. None of us are. You can start making a decision and a choice to make a change right now, today, for you. Another idea behind fear is pain. Look, as someone that had chronic knee pain for probably over 20 years, I completely relate to this. It was hard just to get out of bed in the morning. It was hard to go up and down a flight of stairs. But you know what? Sooner or later, I had to kind of come to this idea that, well, you know what? I'm in pain all the time anyway. I either have to decide that I'm okay being in pain, making choices for my health, versus being in pain just sitting on the couch. So if I'm going to be in pain, I might as well be in pain on something that could potentially get me out of pain in the long run. And to be honest with you, to bring this full circle on the pain thing, when I switched to the ketogenic lifestyle, it's such an anti-inflammatory diet that within a week of me doing it, most of my knee pain was gone. I didn't realize that the knee pain that I was experiencing was inflammation. Now, I've covered this in other videos, and I'll cover it again probably coming down the line sometime. But maybe just making that small change may be the one thing that you need to get you out of pain that may keep you going and making steps further and further and further for your health. For those of you that have stuck around this long, I want to give you something that I believe is maybe the most important part of this entire video, and that's this. You have to be more afraid to stay the same than you are to make the changes to become what you want to become. That day that I rolled out of bed and took forever to sit up after having another crappy night of not sleeping well because I was on the border of sleep apnea and having acid reflux and feeling every joint in my body and having my knees ache and not being able to even put on my socks without having to hold my breath, I had to finally decide that I was more afraid of being like that for the rest of my life than whatever it was that was going to be in front of me. I didn't even know what it was going to be in front of me. I didn't know the whole journey that was going to be there, but I was afraid of staying that way. I was more afraid of that than what was in front of me that I didn't even know about. And that's where I think every single one of us have to get to. The truth is, I want to encourage all of you to come to that point where you realize my health, my life, my body, all of this is worth doing something about. So honestly, I'm just going to encourage you to start small. Look, you don't have to go from complete sedentary, I haven't moved off the couch in 5 years, to go out and run a marathon of 25 miles or whatever it is. I'm not saying you got to do that at all, but you know what? You can get up and take a walk around the block. You can start by cutting out a lot of the crap out of your pantry and get it all out of your diet. You can make a change that's going to be something you can sustain for the rest of your life. You can make small changes that are going to have huge impacts when those things add up. All of those small things add up over time. And I'm telling you right now, just taking one step, the idea behind my channel, Pursuit for Better, is to take a step so that every day you're pursuing a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And I just want you to make one small decision to become a better version of yourself tomorrow than you are today. You may be one small decision away from changing your life for the better for the rest of your life. Look, if you've made it this far, can I ask you to please smash that like button? Just go out and completely destroy it. Like it. If you wouldn't mind also sharing this video out to others that you might think need some motivation, that you know have been struggling with their health or their weight for a long time, share this video out to them. And then if you wouldn't mind, head over to our channel and consider subscribing. If I've earned your subscription, if I have, click on that subscribe button, click on the bell notification, the turn on or the bell icon to turn on notifications so that you get notified anytime we do put out new content. And then give me a comment below. What are some of the reasons why you haven't started? What are some of the things that go through your head? What are the things that you deal with and contemplate, and the things that you think about? I mean, it took me over 2 years to get to that point of knowledge transferring into action. What has it taken for you? I'd love to hear about that before. I'd love to hear about your story. I'd love for you to share it. And you know what? Your story, whatever it may be the very motivation that somebody else needs that may watch this video and read those comments. That may be the thing that gets them going as well. As always, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.